What's up, guys? Jamestown coming to you from the open house of the property that I made a $30,000 assignment on. Now we're here to interview the cash buyer that I wholesaled that deal to. So if you guys want to learn how to build a better relationship with your cash buyers so you can close more deals, or if you're a cash buyer and you're wondering how it is to work with wholesalers, make sure you watch the video all the way to the end where this cash buyer will tell you exactly how he felt working with wholesalers and how he felt about my $30,000 assignment fee. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, I'm here with the man himself, John Haberkamp, who is the fix and flipper who bought this deal for me. John, how you doing?
I was doing, bud.
Good, good. All right, so we're just gonna ask you a couple questions here. So first of all, how long have you been flipping houses for?
Since 2018-19 timeframe is when we got officially started.
Okay, so you haven't been doing it for that long, really?
Not real long. We initially got started, obviously, working with fix and flips, and then we took a sabbatical, obviously, on fix and flips for a little while, where we were doing a lot of multifamily in other states and things like that. So we kind of flip-flopped the normal real estate investing journey. So now we're getting back into more of the fix and flips because we got a decent amount of rentals.
Yeah.
But that's money for the future. That's not money right now type of deal. So we're trying to generate some more active revenue by doing more fix and flips.
Absolutely. And what are some of the other states other than Illinois that you flipped in?
Flip-wise, it's all been Illinois as far as fix and flips.
Okay.
The greater Chicagoland area type of deal. Our multifamily is where we've branched out into Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio.
All right, very cool. And how many flips do you think overall you've done in that time frame?
We are at about 6 so far.
Only 6 flips. So this was the 6th flip that you bought?
Yeah.
How do you find most of the flips that you've done so far?
Different avenues. Obviously, one being a wholesaler like yourself. I'm huge on the wholesaler aspect. My time is very valuable, so I don't have a lot of time to go out and find the off-market properties. I'm also not the greatest when it comes to the marketing aspect. I can admit that. So I like to keep that to the professionals that obviously go out there and do that stuff on a daily basis. I don't have all the systems in place that you guys have in place with the mailers and different things like that. So wholesalers I'm huge with, and then just networking. You know what I mean? I'm not huge on the driving for dollars thing per se.
Me neither. You guys know I've always told you never to drive for dollars. It's not an efficient use of your time.
So I utilize my network.
Yeah.
This entire business is nothing but networking.
That's something I'm just learning. Like when I first started, I didn't network at all. I was just me alone in my basement. I was all hard-headed and stuff. And like we just got into the mode of networking with everybody, which is why we're here to see you.
Yes, networking is huge within this business, and I'm not even a fan of the networking aspect. But it's an integral part of this business is the networking aspect.
Right.
People can't do this stuff on their own per se. You got to have a team of people that can relieve the workload for you and help you out, because everyone has a common goal to advance whatever it is that they're trying to do in life.
Right.
So why not utilize them?
Well, how many people would you say that you have on your team between like you, TJ, some lenders?
Between all of our team, and if you want to talk about people that help out with the contractor work and things like that, there's 25 to 30 people.
Wow, that's crazy.
Lawyers, accountants, obviously private money people, if you're dealing with private money, lenders, obviously if you're dealing with commercial lending or you're getting backed by a loan, wholesalers, bird doggers, other real estate investors, people that you want to JV with on certain deals. Again, there's all these people are become part of your network.
Right, absolutely. Man, you sound like you know a lot about wholesaling here with your lingo and terminology.
I've dabbled in it a little bit. I've wholesaled one property in my life, and that was actually a commercial apartment. Well, that was an apartment building. And I wholesaled it to some other people as well, where I got it under contract and then put an assignment fee on it. And
how much did you make on it?
I made $15,000 off of that one.
Dope. Yeah, I didn't know that. You never told me you were a wholesaler before you got this deal.
It was just like one of those one-offs. I was looking at it for us, and I couldn't make it happen for us per se. So I was like, I didn't want to lose the deal.
Was it off market?
No, it was on market.
Okay.
No,
so you wholesaled an on-market commercial property to another investor.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly what I did.
That's dope.
There was enough room to make it happen. We got him down little over $400,000 from his original asking price.
Oh, shit.
I got him down a little over 400, but again, I just, for me and my team, I wasn't able to make it happen, but I didn't want to lose the deal. So I found another buyer that wanted the deal.
That's perfect, man. I never knew that.
$15,000.
If you could negotiate someone down $400,000, you might be in the wrong line of business. You might should have just wholesaled.
Again, I'm not the networking aspect. I can't say the networking aspect. The marketing aspect is probably again where I fall short because of where my time is spent in so many other things. I don't get a chance to spend as much time as I need to on the marketing aspect.
Right.
And so I don't want to obviously knock out. I'm a huge fan of rentals, and I really love when it comes to the work on the fix and flip, like seeing the finished product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does something to you inside when you walk around and you're just like, wow.
Especially when you did it yourself with your hands.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so what do you generally look for? Let's say if you're flipping a single family home, what are you generally looking for as far as your buy box and, you know, what attributes you want it to have?
Well, first and foremost is going to be location.
Okay.
That is the largest one of all time is going to be location.
And that's good advice. Even if you're wholesaling, I forget it sometimes, find houses in the right location.
Absolutely. Location is by far number one. Like this one here, this one's in Manteno, Illinois. This town is highly sought after. Right now, inventory is extremely low as far as houses on the market in Manteno. I think there's 2 houses per 1,000 people, you know what I mean, on the market in Manteno.
Yeah.
But people want to live here, one, because of the community itself. It's a small town type of community. Downtown is like a small town, downtown type of setup. You can cruise around town on golf carts. They got an old school ice cream shop downtown. The schools are phenomenal here. The sports programs for the kids are phenomenal here. So like this community itself is highly sought after. There's people that literally want to move from Bourbonnais to Manteno just because they want to be in Manteno.
I didn't even realize what I had until I met you.
Yeah, no, you had a diamond in the rough when you picked this one up. Absolutely. So location's huge. And then obviously then you're going to get into the numbers. At the end of the day, the numbers, there's no emotions when it comes to numbers. The numbers are the numbers. It either works or it doesn't. You go in, you look and see obviously what the person is trying to get for the property. You go in, you look at repairs and see what it's going to need. Then you're going to look at comps to see what you can sell it for. At the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. You can't fudge the numbers. You can't change the numbers, because if you sit around and start changing numbers, that's going to come back and bite you in the butt.
Absolutely. Well, that leads me into my next question. How accurate do you feel the numbers that I provided you with up front were on the property once you came and saw it and ran your own
They were actually really good. We upped the repair budget a little bit only because we were going at a higher price point.
Right.
You had the ARV at about $350.
Yeah, and you got it listed for what?
We got it listed for $396.
Crazy.
So we're pushing the market a little bit, which again is going to be beneficial for everyone in the area as well. Because again, now if this sells at obviously a higher price point, that's going to give all these surrounding homeowners a comp that's right next to them, less than a mile away, to where they can make some of these similar updates, and now they can get some appreciation out of their property and get some of that equity.
Yeah, you just help the whole neighborhood.
And that's the goal. I mean, that's essentially when we're doing real estate investing, it's about the community involvement.
Right.
It's about improving the community, making things better for the everyday person.
Right. So break down for me the exact numbers on the deal, from the ARV to the rehab budget to your profit.
So we bought the property for $240,000. We originally budgeted $40,000 for the initial rehab, with a ARV of $370,000. And that's when we initially talked and I ran my initial numbers.
Right.
Once I started diving into my CMA, I realized that all of our comps all had finished basements. So I was like, okay, well now I'm gonna have to obviously finish the basement. I didn't have that in original 40, so I had to obviously take it up an extra 10 grand, 8,500, 10 grand, which we ended on the basement just under 10,000.
Just under 10 grand?
Yeah.
And it looks great.
So, and then, but a finished basement will add $15,000 to $20,000
right.
onto your ARV. As far
and
as,
do you think it would have just been harder to sell in general if this was the only one without a finished basement?
It would have made it more challenging, absolutely. When you got other ones in the areas that have finished basements, granted inventory is low, but still, I'm trying to maximize the dollar, make this more inviting to a homeowner.
Okay.
The fact that they have a full basement that's literally finished and it's just a completely open concept, it just, for the homeowner that comes in here, it's going to give them so many options to do with that basement.
Absolutely.
So we're a little over 50 obviously on the rehab.
Okay.
And then obviously we have our buying and selling costs. Like our agents only charging us 5% commission compared to the 7% industry standard.
So that's for the seller and buyer commission?
Yep.
Okay.
So there'd be a 5% commission. Negotiated that down a little bit. Taxes are about $9,000 per year. Like I think 84 or 44 is what it breaks down to for the year. I did a private money lender for this deal, so one individual funded the whole project.
You didn't get a hard money lender, and then oh shit! So
We had
did you have to
one
bring
private-
money down yourself?
No, he paid for everything.
What were the terms he gave you?
12%,
How many points?
2 points.
2 points, 12%. Man, that's pretty awesome, man.
Solid returns for him, you know what I mean? Great, obviously, terms for us as well.
Yeah.
So this person's making money. They didn't have to lift a finger other than to, you know what I mean, wire over
Right.
some money. Their money's making money for them, which is why private money lenders are huge in the real estate investing world, because people can literally make their money work for them.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. He continues to does his 9 to 5 job like no tomorrow, and then he's making his retirement work for him now.
Right.
And so this deal's gone well. This is actually the first time we've used this private money lender. And so obviously we're anticipating everything going well. He's going to be happy. He's going to get his money back, and now he's going to be ready to fund another deal.
How did you find this private money lender?
Networking.
Networking?
Yep.
Awesome.
Lots and lots of networking. At the end of the day, they want to see one of the biggest challenges, again, for real estate investing is it's kind of like a catch-22. Nobody wants to fund you because you haven't done anything, but then you can't do anything if no one wants to fund you.
Right.
So I partnered obviously with TJ. TJ's got a well-known, obviously, reputation in the real estate investment world, and he was able to bring in the private money lender on this one. And then obviously I'm able to handle all the project management, the construction, acquisition, all that good stuff.
Are you and TJ splitting the back end 50-50?
Yep.
And how much do you conservatively project to make for your guys' net profit?
Each will probably walk away with about $25,000, $30,000.
Ooh, that's good. So, and it's going to take you, what, 4 months total?
About that. I mean, depending on when we get an offer, obviously, and close. I mean, obviously, we have to take that into account too. Minimum closing time, if I get an offer today, is going to be minimum 30 days.
Right.
Depending on if it's conventional, FHA,
The bullshit
VA.
financing.
Yes. So depending on whatever it is that they're trying to do, you know, I mean, it's going to be a minimum 30 days. So right now we're about 4 months in. So, I mean, we could be about 5 to 6 months by the time we close.
Okay, and what do you think is the total amount of money that the private money investor made over those 6 months, let's call it?
$2,800 a month times 6.
Okay, so about 15,000 and change?
Yep.
Awesome, okay, cool. And you guys have no problem paying that because you didn't have to put any of your own money into the deal, right?
Exactly. Zero. We have $0 into this deal.
Now, did this guy check your credit or check any of that stuff, or he just based it off of knowing TJ?
Pure reputation and just our track record, our portfolio is essentially what he looked at. We got all these rentals, you know what I mean, all these rental properties and things like that. So obviously we're in the game, we're doing it, we're out here doing it on a daily basis. We're not the brand new person, you know what I mean, that hasn't necessarily done something yet and have zero credibility or anyone, no testimonials or anything like that. We got testimonials of people that have worked with us, other private money lenders. So there's obviously the portfolio and the networking and obviously the credibility aspect.
And how would you guys recommend that somebody that was brand new trying to get into flipping and has no testimonials or has no reputation could go about getting financing?
The thing when it comes to that, though, is it's going to depend on what capital you have available to you.
Right.
If you don't have money in the bank, because even then, on a hard money loan, they're only going to they'll finance 100% of the construction.
But 80% of the rehab?
80% of the
purchase price.
So you got to still have 20%.
Right.
So unless you have that 20% in the bank account or you know somebody that has that money in a bank account that you can partner with.
Right.
So the easiest way, obviously, to do it, if you're starting out on your own with 0 people, it's going to be wholesaling.
Right.
Because now you can wholesale, let's say 5, 10, 15, 20 properties, and then you move into the fix and flip aspect.
Right.
Because now you've generated the revenue. Hopefully you're sticking some of that money away like you should be.
Probably met a bunch of people too.
Exactly. You've met a whole bunch of networking and everything else. You've met cash buyers, people that are out there obviously buying your properties. Well, those cash buyers are going to have funds available at some point, maybe to private lend on your property. Hey, I got you 6 properties. I'm going to fix and flip this one on my own. Here's a spreadsheet of how it breaks down. Are you interested on being a private money lender? So it's giving you other ins because you're out there wholesaling.
Right.
But then when you get to the fix and flip aspect, again, if you're going to do it solely on your own, you got to have at least 20% down. And that's just on the loan. That's not including your initial holding costs and everything else.
Right.
Because most of those, they do draws when it comes to the construction. So you may need an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 up front just to get the project started.
Right.
And hold you over until you can get your first draw.
Right.
Most people don't think about that.
And that's something we're just learning because of that property that we got in Ottawa that you introduced us to Frank, who was working on your basement here.
Yep.
And he was nice enough to drive all the way out to Ottawa to look at the property for us. And even though he wasn't able to do the work because it's too far, he at least gave us a realistic budget. So all the contractors we had come in, we knew if they were trying to dig us or not. And now we found a good contractor at a good price, and we got it all worked out. But it's because I met you. You introduced me to Frank, and I was like, oh, I can trust him. John gave him to me. So it's how it all works.
Absolutely. Again, it's the business is out there is the networking business, and if I can give a contractor more work, you know what I mean? Now, obviously, they're going to remember that when I call them up, hey, I need some help. They're going to remember that type of stuff. They're obviously, if they're able to help you, now, obviously, again, you're going to be able to use them again or refer them to someone else. Be like, hey, you know what I mean? Frank, you know what I mean, was able to do this for me or do that for me. Give him a call.
Absolutely.
Now he's getting more business. You're getting credibility because you're referring a good contractor. Contractors being one of the hardest things in real estate investing to find is a good contractor.
A trustworthy, good contractor? Yeah.
It's extremely hard to find.
And that's coming from somebody that does fix and flips.
Yes. It's extremely hard to find.
Why do you think that is?
People suck sometimes.
That's a fact.
Just bold-faced honest, people suck.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever bought from a wholesaler before besides myself?
We have in the past, yes.
How many times?
2 other times.
And how did that experience go?
For the most part, it's been good every single time. That's why
Really?
I continue to use them. You know what I mean? I have had to critique some of their numbers, maybe coach up. There's one I had to coach up a little bit when it came to the rehab costs of what something would cost.
Right.
It adds
And
up.
wholesalers definitely don't know. If they're just wholesalers, don't know shit about that.
And that is the downfall.
Right.
Because again, if you want to give your buyers correct numbers, you got to know the rehab process.
Starts with the rehab budget. Right.
Because even then, it's going to allow you to figure out what your assignment fee could be as far as what you can tack on. Because again, you got to know obviously what the CMA is going to say for the competitive market analysis, what we can resell it for, what are they trying to get out of it? Is that possible? If I tack on this, if I tack on the buying cost, the holding cost, the selling cost, what is my cash buyer going to make off the deal?
Right.
Is it going to be worthwhile for them? Because every cash buyer is going to have different criteria.
How much did you actually end up spending on the rehab on this property?
We were just over 50.
So I think, what did I have it at? 30?
25-30.
I was at 25-30, so you spent almost double that, but the ARV jumped 50 grand.
Exactly, but we finished the basement.
Right.
Originally
I
didn't
didn't
have that
account
part.
on that.
You know what I mean? So I spent $10,000 on the basement. We went with some higher end finishes, some obviously higher end appliances. So again, if I was going to sell at that price, you know what I mean, your rehab numbers were on point.
Perfect.
But because I was going to obviously
Take it up a notch.
Exactly.
Which is better for the neighborhood, like you said.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's kind of better for your reputation if you're known as the guy that makes the killer fucking houses. But so how did you feel personally when the deal came time to close and you saw that I was going to make $30,000 assignment fee on it?
That doesn't bother me one bit.
So you don't watch other people's pockets. You don't care as long as the numbers work for you?
There's enough skin in the game for everyone to make money.
Okay.
Any real estate investor is going to know that across the board because, again, everyone wants to make money.
Well, see, a fear that a lot of wholesalers have, I know, because I teach a lot of brand new ones, is that they have to hide their assignment fee because the person's going to get mad about how much money. Like, I actually considered with my lawyer double closing on this property so that you wouldn't see the assignment fee. And I was like, I don't know, man. John's pretty cool. I think it'd be all right.
And this is the way, like me and my partner TJ are. If there's money to be made, then we're okay with people making money. Again, as long as the assignment fee isn't taken away from the bottom line of what we're trying to do. I mean, I had my original ARV at $370, and we were still able to walk away with probably a $50,000 to $52,000, you know what I mean, profit.
Right.
Projected.
Right.
Obviously now we're pushing to $396. So again, there's still at $50,000 walking away on a fix and flip. That's a decent return.
They usually say you want to make about at least 10% of your ARV in profit, so you're pushing that well over.
Yes, we're pushing that well over. Again, for us, wholesalers are there to make money. Okay, we know what you guys are there to do. You guys are taking a huge burden away from us. Why am I going to get upset that all of a sudden you made $30,000 on one deal?
All right, so last question would be, what is advice you would give to other cash buyers that might be skeptical or nervous to work with a wholesaler and might have bad thoughts about wholesalers?
I mean, for any cash buyer, anytime you get numbers from any wholesaler, it's your job to vet them. You have to do your own due diligence. You can't just take someone for their word necessarily, especially if they're new to you. But even then, you and I could have done 30 deals together. I'm still going to check your numbers.
Right.
What's to say you didn't have an off day? You weren't having a bad day that day and you missed a few things. I'm going to go out, I'm going to walk the property still, or I'm going to have somebody I trust, you know what I mean, at least go be able to walk the property. That way I can compare the numbers that you provided versus obviously what it actually is. I'm going to verify a CMA, you know what I mean, and see what it's going to be worth. So we have to do our own due diligence at all times. You can't just go off of, hey, these are what the numbers are, I don't want it, or I do want it. There could be a wholesaler that has literally a gold mine and has no clue that they have a gold mine.
Right.
And you could pick up a great deal based off of, I'm sorry to say, just ignorance.
Right.
But now you sloughed it off, you know what I mean, as a cash buyer because, you know what I mean, you didn't like something about what the numbers were off the bat, and so you didn't do your own due diligence to take 5 minutes and run some numbers.
Right. Well, what would you tell cash buyers that just don't like wholesalers because they heard that they're scammy, or they just, you know, they don't trust them, they're just apprehensive to work with wholesalers, you know, but you've had great experiences.
And there's going to be those out there. But who in what business hasn't had some type of shady person?
Right.
It's in every single business. Again, contractors are shady. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great contractors that have gotten bad names because of previous contractors.
Right.
So you could sit there and say the same thing about a contractor. Why do I want to work with a contractor when all I hear is horror stories about working with contractors?
Right.
The same thing goes for wholesalers. If all I'm hearing is horror stories about wholesalers, then why do I want to work with a wholesaler? Well, do you want to spend your time marketing, spending your dollars setting up campaigns and CRMs and phone calls, and spending how many hours that you sit on a phone call, whether it actually equates to something or not, and then you got to do the follow-up touches. That's where your CRM's coming into play. So now there's times where you got to touch somebody 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 times before you even remotely get a solid conversation with them.
Right. That
they're going to entertain, you know what I mean, possibly selling. And they're going to use a wholesaler over a real estate agent. Someone who's willing to put in that effort, you know what I mean, I'm going to get, again, one, it takes that responsibility away from me. I got other things I need to worry about. My goal is obviously to find the next fix and flip. I'm going to find a team, you know what I mean, develop a team to go out and help find those properties.
Right.
That's where your acquisition guys all come into play.
Absolutely.
And everything else. And if you already got the systems in place and I don't have to develop those systems, why not utilize them?
Absolutely. No, I get it. That's awesome. All right, so John, you know, tell me what you've got going on, how people can find you and reach you. Obviously, you're a big player in the real estate game, so what do you got going?
So my company's name is BFA Home Solutions. BFA stands for Bright Future Ahead. So we're kind of trying to create the legacy that for our family and our children, looking at that bright future.
Awesome.
So we are on obviously social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have our website, all that stuff. All you gotta do is search BFA Home Solutions. But again, what we do is this: we are a real estate investment company. We work with rentals. We work with fix and flips primarily. We are always obviously looking for more properties. Obviously, location being huge, whether it be fix and flips or rentals.
And what states would you be looking for properties in if people wanted to bring them to you?
Landlord-friendly states.
Red states.
Not necessarily. There's a few blue states that are actually landlord-friendly. But yes, primarily red states. Our goal is to put people into quality housing, you know what I mean, at affordable pricing, and just let them live their lives.
Right.
And take care of the things that need to be taken care of. If something's broken, get it fixed. If you know what I mean, they're having issues and things like that, we try and work with people. And if they're having financial hardships, we try and introduce them to other programs to help them get through their financial hardships. We are genuinely worried about taking care of the community as a whole. And that's one of the things that kind of sets us aside in regards to the real estate aspect, because it's not just about the dollar. Obviously, we like making the dollars, don't get me wrong, but if we can genuinely make an impact in someone's lives and help them out of a crappy situation, as a person, that just makes your heart feel whole.
I mean, the guy that owned this house, he was about to get foreclosed on. His ex-wife screwed him over, and we helped him out of a foreclosure that he otherwise was just waiting to lose the house. Exactly. And now look, now his house is beautiful, helped his neighborhood. You made some money, I made some money. He's got a clean record, and that's it.
And that's all that matters, because now he can get started with a fresh slate and obviously he went through his portion of the stuff, or if he's still going through it, at least this is one of the heavy weights off of his back.
Right.
And that's huge, especially when it comes to health. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
I do have another company where I do self-defense training type of deal, but again, keeping
Well, what's the name of that company?
Guardian Concepts.
And what do you guys teach?
So we do the Illinois Concealed Carry. We also do medical training classes where we do Stop the Bleed and TECC, and then we also do combatives, where it's kind of hand-to-hand combatives based around carrying a gun.
Awesome. And if people want to get in contact with you about either thing, what's the best way to do that?
You can either call me. My direct line is 815-295-6031. Or if you get a chance, just go on our social media. Obviously, most people like to use Facebook, things like that. Go on our Facebook pages, whether it be BFA Home Solutions or Guardian Concepts. And you can just send me an email or send me a message.
All right, perfect. We'll have all your information linked down below in the description as well. And again, I appreciate it, John.
No, thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
I love what you did with the house, man. It was a pleasure to work with you, and I'm going to find you some more properties, all right?
Sounds like a plan. Look forward to it.
All right, there it is, guys. You heard it from the man himself, the cash buyer on this deal, John Haberkamp. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. And if you gained any value from this video, smash that subscribe button. You're in Jamestown now, so relax, take some notes, and let's make some fucking money.